I'm Rick Riss. I'm an analyst at ARC. I've been kind of writing and covering things like the drone space. I probably will be working a little bit more in the future on smart cities and microgrids. I kind of have a chemical, oil, and gas background and process control systems. But we have a real good expert collection of panelists today. So I think we'll have a very interesting session. So let's get started and introduce our panelists. So our speakers will go in order from top to bottom, and our panelist Travis Ritter will be available to answer questions. To start with, we have Steven Luxian, which we call him Lux. You know, he's kind of working for Assure, which is kind of an alliance between industry and I think government regulations. Like works a lot through the FDA to help kind of campaign for regulations. We also have Kurt Smith, who is a digital technology consultant, currently working at Alaska Remote Sensing and formerly the BP Technology Director. And we have Jason Hanley, who is the Microgrid Technology Director for Duke Energy. And so those are our speakers today. And let me see. You know, one of the interesting things about the drone marketplace is it went from almost nothing to all kinds of very innovative and creative market niches. You find very few industries that have this much innovation and creativity. There are obviously creativity in the drone suppliers, but you know, so many different problems and issues with drones that many have been solved and many yet to be solved. Just to kind of give you an idea of the innovation that was required, it's really a convergence of many technologies. First, you have ducted fans, variable speed drive motors. You have gimbaled and controlled cameras and ever increasing megapixels and 4K, 5K cameras, very high resolution cameras, especially for some of the professional activities. There are also other devices besides just cameras. There's LiDAR and other sensor technologies that are used with drones. Obviously, drones have had an incredible revolution in control systems. You know, these drones have multiple compasses, GPS, very precise control, stabilization control. So the control and operation of drones is really advanced a great deal, especially in terms of the ability to operate autonomously or pre-programmed routes. And of course, lithium batteries given us the power source that gives drones a reasonable life. So let's just kind of review a few of the challenges that drones have. You know, there's no shortage of challenges that the FAA has. You know, at first the FAA thought they knew how to regulate drones, and I think once they realized some of the industry feedback, and they basically said, you know, maybe we need to ask more questions and see if our rules in fact are reasonable. You know, you can get a license from a Part 107 to fly a drone commercially. You know, obviously you can fly a toy drone or a game drone or a racing drone without a license of any kind. And if you want to if you want a little bit more freedom to operate, for example, if you wanted to fly at night, you want to fly over 400 feet, you want to fly outside of line of sight, you can apply for a 333 exemption, for which the FAA has been relatively stingy, especially in populated areas where there's any sort of risk involved. Obviously, safety is a big issue with drones. There's now more registered drones than registered aircraft. So there's a lot of them. Flight control systems, flight traffic management is a huge area of research, and it's very much lacking. You know, drones, you can imagine that if you wanted to have Amazon, FedEx, and DHL all delivering drones along with the pizza delivery downtown New York City on a busy street, that you got a little bit of a traffic control problem, all right? We're pretty far from that. Obviously, there's a lot of pushback from drones in terms of privacy and peace and quiet and security. there's also some negative aspects of drones in the sense that, we all know drones in terms of military weapons, but drones can be relatively easily weaponized, and you'll find that every prison system around has a drone detection system because of the dropping in of cell phones and contraband into prisons is a very common use of drones. Less common now. Obviously, the camera sensors and robotics may be coming a little bit more in the future. A lot of times, I think you'll see in a lot of these speakers, they're saying, really drones is about what the data you can collect and what you can do with that data. And there's some pretty creative collections of data and data processing to come to actionable conclusions. And of course, operator training for drones is an important characteristic as well. So what are the opportunities for drones? We see cameras, visible, IR, ultraviolet technologies. Obviously the video, that's kind of where drones, sweet spot tended to be. Environmental sensors, drones we always thinking of the multi-rotor drone, but drones can operate underwater, all right, by the pure definition of drones. So, and they can do environmental sensing as well. Obviously the robotic applications will come more in the future. We've seen a few of those now. Data analytics, that's where the sweet spot, that's where drones provide most of their value. Drone detection, interception. You better believe that at public events like the Super Bowl or the Seoul Olympics, that they have a complete drone protection plan in place and active to intercept drones should they become, let's say, a terrorist threat. Coming in the future, obviously, you can see a lot of firms investing a lot of money going forward. Amazon, FedEx, DHL, Postal Service, a number of other organizations really would like to see package delivery. A little bit further down the road, although maybe not that far, Dubai Airport is insisting they're going to be the first one to be able to deliver you to your hotel room by just walking off the airplane, hopping in a drone, and pressing which of the 4 hotels you want to go to right on the drone control screen, and it will deliver you to your hotel. They started out with EHang, and I think they're using Volocopter. Not quite operational yet, but they're really working hard on that. Just to give you an idea, there's a lot of drone activity in other countries that are less populated, have less airports than, say, the United States and Europe. Rwanda is a very interesting characteristic. They have a drone service, I think it's been in business for more than a year, covers almost all the country. They can deliver medical supplies to hospitals throughout the country. You call up on cell phone, they've launched this drone, it drops a package of maybe critical blood for a transfusion or different medical materials. Basically a very successul drone application. Obviously a little bit less rules. FAA does not have any authority in Rwanda. There's all kinds of other things coming. Here's a 500-pound lift drone, all right? We tend to think of small objects, but some of the same drone technology can be applied to more. This is the Volocopter that Dubai is looking to use for delivering you to your hotel. Then you look at basically most any aircraft that you know of could be converted to drone, of course. And I would love to have a drone like this in my backyard here, this little lithium, I think it's, Lilium being supported by the European Space Agency, for example. I think it's over 200-mile cruising range, over 200 miles per hour top speed. Can take 2 passengers. You can park it in your backyard and plug it in with your solar panels. Maybe. On the negative side, if you search the internet for a short video I saw from IEEE reported on this, called slaughter bots, you can see these weaponized drones could be packed with a 3-gram charge and hunt you down with facial recognition, breaking windows to get inside your house and finding you and killing you, right? So this could be some of the negative drone applications. On a more positive side, Intel. Intel demonstrated at the Seoul Olympics, not actually an opening day, but a little bit ahead of time because of the wind problems there. But here's over 12, I think it's 1,215 drones, all dynamically operated to make a 3D object of a snowboard and the 5 Olympic rings, all synchronized and choreographed, all launched at the same time. You know, pretty impressive demonstration of autonomous and cooperative drone operation. So in any event, our presenters have, I think, even much more interesting materials to present. So we're going to start off